Hey guys, what's up? Stock Retail coming back to you. As you can see from the title here, just a quick hit, kind of a personal thing today. And don't worry before anybody's like, oh my gosh, what is he about to share? Nothing overly dramatic, just something I want to share with you all real quick. And if you haven't seen, side note, take a look at the collapsible popcorn bucket. It's, the Captain America shield and it's collapsible, turns into a popcorn bucket. Super cool. That's why I'm using some images of that today. And so just want to tell you a little bit of my journey. I will try to keep it very short. Someday, perhaps after we win, I'll share a lot more. Back in 2021, some of you might have even heard me say in a couple space calls back then, I did take the time to share one or two things. And just I don't know, at a super high level, when I was a kid, so my mom was a single mom. My dad lived in another state. My mom does not have a college degree. She was an immigrant to this country. I've shared, from Europe. And anyway, she had followed a GI home and kind of ends up on her own with a kid here, many, many miles from her family. And she had to break a lot of cycles too. She came from some pretty tough backgrounds, was maybe not treated the way she should have been treated. And she kind of turned things around for me. And one of the things I saw as a kid was, we each have different communities, right? And so for me, it was a faith community, and it was people who saw me. There were people who bought me a backpack. Our church literally bought my mom a car because there was a time when she couldn't afford it. And so I've seen what it's like to, have to take free food from a food bank. I did that as a kid. I've seen what it's like to wear hand-me-down clothes. That was me. And so it hit early on for me in ways that I didn't understand as a kid. This notion of seeing each other and helping each other. And so for many years now, I have been. I don't like to talk about it a lot because I believe this should be sort of in secret and in quiet. So I'm not going to share details. But my wife and I practiced a lifestyle of generosity. And I'll just leave that at that. And so, but stuff happens, and I will just be real with you guys that the last couple of years, things have sort of flipped around the other way for me, where there's been some surprise speed bumps in our life. There's things where we help extended family. There's been some personal speed bumps, health related stuff, whatever. I won't bore you all with a sob story. Everybody has your own ups and downs, and I 100% respect that. And I don't want to make it overly about me, but I'm just being honest with you that there have been some speed bumps in my life, and so I'm going to show you in a minute. I did this on Twitter, so some of you may have already seen, but for people who only follow me on YouTube, I wanted to share it here too. That I had to kind of wrestle through with, honestly, maybe asking for help. And so, what I've thought about, you've heard me say maybe in the past that I might share my book that I've written. I have published a book. It's actually out there on Amazon, but a lot of people just don't know who I am, so you can't go buy that. And you'll see here some things that I just wanted to guard. I was thinking about this, and so if there's a shield, here's some things I want to shield. My family's privacy matters to me, and our sort of, I don't know, online and physical safety. And so that's where I've wrestled for a long time. Do I share this book? Obviously, it would be of value to me if people bought the book. It's okay to say that. And so, but also, I'm just proud of the book itself, and I would love to share it. But so far, I've decided to kind of keep a little more privacy and anonymity. But then what's more is I think we've seen people who generally, you may have followed me on X and seen me talk about people being on payroll. We've seen people sort of flip and have their voices become, in a way, owned. Like we talk about people reading from scripts or anything, and that doesn't always have to be super negative. If you're sponsored and you just start answering to someone who's giving you a paycheck, that doesn't, like I said, have to be evil per se, but it removes your independence, right? If I become sponsored, then you don't know when I'm speaking to you from my heart and really the things that I personally believe, and when I'm just saying something because I have a sponsor to answer to. And so keeping my independent voice is really, really important to me. And then, I guess I've already kind of talked about not just my anonymity, but yours too. Some of you out there don't necessarily want people knowing who you are. And then just integrity. Again, if I'm taking any kind of paycheck from anybody or whatever, then how do you know when I'm speaking truly what I believe? And so these are things I wanted to guard. And so I had been sharing with a friend, someone I trust, I don't know, 5 weeks ago or so, a little over a month ago. And they had said, listen, you've put in thousands of hours. you have tried to help people, you've educated people, you've done DD, you've provided value. Just let people decide if you've provided value. And that's what I'm saying to you all now. If you feel like I've provided some value in terms of DD or education, my voice against corruption, which I will absolutely continue. Take a look at X. I explain that a little more, that I am not going away. Apes together strong, apes not leaving means something to me. And so, this person kind of said, just listen, there's anonymous ways out there for you to just let people say, hey, thank you. And so I'm just going to show you that. And I feel before I show you this, I want to kind of disclaimer. I feel honestly, I guess I don't want to be negative about myself, but I did not want to do this. I've tried very hard for a very long time not to ask for help. But I have made a site. You can see there's already, from me posting this morning, 16 people have jumped in. You can see the site. It's just Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com, and then there's a page for stock retail. And you can even drop by and leave comments. That's what I'm showing over here on the right. If you decide that you feel, I don't know, in good conscience, that you can offer me some anonymous support and just sort of say thank you, and support me and my family in a sort of our moment of a speed bump, then I really appreciate that. And if that's not for you and you decide, some people will accuse me of being a grifter. I'm just going to acknowledge that. If you decide that you don't support this, you don't like this, or perhaps for some of you, it's far more positive than that. If you're in a speed bump moment yourself, you're in a tough spot, please do not give. I would not in good conscience feel okay at all if you're in a tight spot and I'm sitting here asking you to help me in my tight spot. That's not right. And also I've committed to, it's still deep in my heart to live this lifestyle of generosity. I'm just at a moment where that's not working out for me. Anything that I receive, either when we win in sort of AMC, Bitcoin, GameStop, in particular, obviously I've been more in AMC. So when we win, or if I'm fighting to turn my life around financially and get things right, right the ship, so to speak. When I get there, I'll commit to any of this I want to pay forward, and I'm just putting myself on the record. You're welcome to hold me accountable to that. But I will pay this forward, and hopefully even in multiplied ways, pay it forward more than I receive. But for now, I am in a place where I'm just being honest and saying, my family and we could use some support, or even if you just want to say, hey, thanks for all you've done. That's enough about all that. I understand some will not love this. I will live with that. This is just, I hope that you decide that you see who I am and that I'm not changing and that I'm going to stay here and fight for us. But regardless, you know what I believe. We will win. So let's go.